But all right, guys. So I'm going to really kick this off. I am a little bit early, but I want to make sure to get you guys all the info as soon as I can. The first day, so just the overall thing, like why, like what this whole live is about. It's the 5 reasons why you should not buy in 2024. And it's not going to be a headline that's congruent with what's going on in the media. It's really what just good advice is for someone who's going to be buying a house in the near future. Um, the the first point that I have is interest rates. Okay, don't bank on interest rates going down. Bank on interest rates as they are, because you need to take the market for what it is. And when it comes to interest rates, they go up, they go down. Prices, they go up and they go down. But historically, prices do go up and interest rates stay kind of within the same range. Now we're in a crazy time right now, and interest rates basically doubled in 2022. But now we're in a situation where it's kind of weaned off, and we're kind of staying stable with the interest rates, and prices have gone down, kind of leveling things out, right? So don't bank on interest rates going down. And you want to future proof yourself when you're actually going into a property. So if you're expecting yourself to really not make as much money later, or maybe you're having a baby and both of you are working at the same time, and now when you have a baby, you have to go on maternity leave, and a baby's an extra cost, so you have to adjust for these things. So interest rates, like it all relates, it all comes together at the end. Okay. And the thing that I've been seeing a lot lately in regards to like a solution to what the interest rates are is basically acquiring loans that people don't really know very much about, like adjustable rate mortgages and interest only loans. And it seems like it's a low payment, but in the long run, it's a situation where it's not really going to be beneficial for you. Interest only loans are like absolutely terrible for you. Do not do it. Interest only loans are just a way of just capturing business and not helping people. And it goes into my second point, is which you if you don't know how to purchase a home, it doesn't matter. Like if you don't have a good education system behind you, basically people who are supporting you, it's not a good time for you to buy. You need to be well educated. You need to have a lot of the information in your back pocket so that you can confidently buy something. Okay, so and things can be dressed up in multiple ways, and that's why having someone honest behind you is going to be really, really important. Because there are agents out there that are a little bit more like used car salesmen, and they're going to make the payment be really, really low, but extend the entire time that you're going to be purchasing that car. You know what I mean? So you need to look at multiple factors when you're purchasing a house, and understand the deal that you're getting, understand the things that are being charged to you, and knowing what it is what the process looks like, how you can succeed, how you can fail, what everything really looks like. So the second point is, or the second reason why you should not buy in 2024 is if you don't know how to. Okay, so if you don't know how to really capitalize on the asset that you're acquiring, that's a reason not to purchase in 2024. And don't let anybody push you. Like if you need to be convinced to get into a house, it like you're gonna feel it. You're gonna understand what it is that you're going into. And if it doesn't feel right, if it feels like you have to be, or if it's a situation where you have to be convinced into purchasing a house, one, you're working with the wrong person. Like I've never convinced anybody into a house. I convince them out of houses, if anything. And like you're gonna have what's called buyer's remorse afterwards. And buyer's remorse is just it it happens from time to time, and it's a situation where like I could have gotten a better deal, or I got a bad deal. I don't think I really am able to capitalize on this. I'm stuck in this house. And that's, for me as a realtor, that's the worst thing imaginable, because years down the line it's my fault. it's my fault that you purchased that house, and I didn't provide a good enough case for you to get out of that situation. Uh, Third reason not to buy in 2024 is if you didn't budget well. So I've run into this situation multiple times in the last couple months, and I have somebody that wanted to purchase a house, and they didn't earn enough income, but they did earn enough income, if that makes sense. So they didn't prepare their taxes like in the right way. They had too many things that are basically deducting what their income looks like. So it makes it look like they're barely going to be taxed. To avoid the income tax, they're deducting as much as they can, and that isn't very positive when you're trying to purchase a house, because now you have all these deductions, you have all these charges that go against you. You can't afford the house. So preparing in the proper way is going to be really, really important. And if you're 6 months, a year away from wanting to purchase a house, the time is now, because you can adjust your taxes, or prepare for your taxes now at the end of the year, and say like, okay, do I need to really spend my money, or do I need to kind of keep my money so I don't have the deductions and I can make sure that I can afford something? That's where a good accountant comes into place, a real estate agent who has good accountants that are going to be able to help you throughout the process. Um, and like, you want to make sure that not only the down payment, not only the closing costs, but 6 months of preparation on top of whatever you're buying. So that's one thing I always press on everybody. Like, you don't want to have just the down payment and closing costs. You want to also have 6 months of just cash in your pocket, just in case. I've heard horror stories of people like they purchase their house, and you know a couple months later they lose their job, they get laid off. That's a terrible situation. Good thing that they had their nest egg. I had a situation recently where I'm kind of glad that it happened before we got into escrow, but I had a client who was going to make an offer on a property, and literally the day I was about to send out the offer for them to sign, and he sends me a text message at 5 o'clock in the morning. He says, "Hey, I just got laid off." It sucks, but I'm glad it happened at the time it did, because if we would have been in escrow, or if he would have already purchased the house, he would have been in a really bad situation. Not a terrible situation, because he had that nest egg for himself and his family, but it was a situation where I'm kind of glad it happened when it did, because we didn't get too deep into the process. Um, and In regards to budgeting, you want to really narrow down the math and see if it's really worth you renting still, or if it's really worth you buying. Right now, it's more expensive for you to buy than it is for you to rent. In the long run, it's going to be more worth it for you to buy, but how long are you expecting to stay in the property? That's something that you have to ask yourself, ask your family, and see what it is that you're going to be purchasing. What you can afford right now, is that going to be something that we're going to be happy with 5, 6, 7+ years, or is it going to be like a 3 to 5 year property where we're not going to really be able to accumulate a lot of equity, typically in a typical market, or or are we flipping the property? What kind of property are we getting? Are we getting something that really needs a lot of work? In that case, that you can probably adjust a little bit from there, but that's where a lot of the due diligence comes into place with that. And another thing on maintenance, and hey, how's it going? Um, Another thing on maintenance is making sure that you have enough money for maintenance. Typically, I'll say that when you purchase a property that's bigger than whatever you have, especially if you're renting, add 30% to whatever your utilities are right now, and expect it, and just like that's what you're going to be paying, because that's like I wouldn't say a conservative number, but it's an average number that I see, a 30% increase in whatever the utility costs are. And another thing that I would say that is really not, like, it would stop. I would have to stop a client from purchasing a house in 2024, or at any point, is not knowing what they really want. You really have to figure out what your priorities are, what the property is for, and if you don't have really a purpose behind it, it's like I just need a place to live. It's like no, we kind of now in this market, in this day and age, you have to prepare. You have to know what it is that you want, because it's not. Hey, the first home I'm going to buy is my dream home. Unfortunately, especially in California, that's not going to be the case. It's going to be a situation where you're going to be you're going to go into a starter home or starter property, maybe it's a condo, townhome, apartment, whatever it is. You're going to purchase that, and you're going to live in there for a couple of years and grow from there. And you're going to stack up money, you're going to save money, and you're going to be able to build enough equity in order to sell it and purchase that bigger, better property. So not knowing what the all-encompassing purpose is behind you purchasing a property, or not knowing what it is that you want, and not future-proofing yourself, and really just not having that budget, you really want to hold back and kind of like ask yourself those questions and really narrow it down. And I want to reiterate this, is that you don't want to be convinced into a property. Your gut is going to tell you a lot. If you feel like, hey, this is not right for me, this neighborhood isn't good for me, I don't think it's a great opportunity. I just had this situation a couple weeks ago where a client, we found a property that was a good deal. It wasn't the best looking property. It had to have some cosmetic changes, and there were some things in the backyard that need some fixing, things like that. And I let them know, like, the neighborhood is not the greatest. I just want to let you know, like, the neighborhood, like, it's a blue zone, like in regards to like a city, like a crime heat map. It's like there's a little bit more crime here in this specific area. They just want you guys to pay attention to that. And they went to go take a look at the property, and we went to go take a look at it a second time, and sure enough, they didn't have that really gut feeling like this is the property that I want. So we decided not to go for it. And that's the thing that I want to have my clients have, is to have that intuition say, like, no, this isn't the right property for me. I don't think this is going to be a good fit for me and my family. And another part of this whole thing is really preparing yourself, right? And a lot of the times your market might not be the right fit for you and your family. Like, for instance, if somebody is coming into Santa Clarita expecting to have the youngest crowd, like nightclubs, and to be able to capitalize on a flip or something like that, it might not be the right market for them. It'd be better suited maybe going into the San Fernando Valley or LA. The market is not going to fit what their goals really are. So you might want to reassess and see what it is that you're looking for. In some areas, some people go out into the Palmdale, Lancaster area in Southern California, and they look at that area and they purchase a property hoping that they're going to get something great, hoping that they're going to capitalize on the opportunity. They have this big house, and they think that they're going to be really capitalizing on the market, building some equity, but that market has been so volatile that they're not able to achieve their goals. Now, I'm not talking smack about Palmdale, Lancaster. People love living there, but historically, that area doesn't accumulate a lot of equity for people. So people who buy there stay there because they can't move. So depending on what your goals are, you want to make sure to pay attention to what it is that market is doing. Future date yourself. Really narrow down what your goal really is, and if it means paying more or paying less to be in an area that's better suited for you and your family, do it. Stick to your intuition. Like, have that gut feeling for whatever it is that you're trying to do, and don't let anybody convince you into a location, to an area. Let them spell out the benefits and the pros and cons of coming into the area, and that's it. Like, anything else above that is going to be it's not going to make sense for you, because you have to assess that with you and your family, and figure out what your goal really is. And a good real estate agent's not even going to put you in that situation in the first place, and get you into an area that's going to be best suited for your goals, and suggest those areas and show you why does this area make sense for you. Like, if a family came up to me and said, hey, I want a 4-bedroom house that's going to build some equity over time. We already have a house that we're looking to sell, and we need to upgrade into a 4-bedroom. We want to be in a nice area with great schools, and we want to be in San Fernando. That's when we're going to reel back. I'm like, okay, look, there are properties like that in San Fernando. They're not going to have the schools, and they're not going to really grow in equity because of where it is. I suggest probably going into Santa Clarita because the schools are great. You're going to build the equity because they're building a lot out here. There's a lot more infrastructure out here, to positive infrastructure out here, and positive economy out here in order for you to capitalize on more equity. Let me show you why, and show the numbers as to the equity growth on certain properties. And it's like, it's not my word, it's the facts. Like I am presenting the facts in a specific manner, yes, but I'm going based off of fact only. So those are the 5 major things, guys. The interest rates, the 5 reasons why you shouldn't buy in 2024 is solely on the interest rates. You shouldn't buy if you don't know how to buy. You shouldn't buy if you didn't budget well, meaning 6 months, a year ahead of time. If you don't know what you want, and if the market's not going to work out for you and your family. But I appreciate it. If you guys have any questions in regards to this, I'm going to stick around a little bit. Seems like we had a lot of people coming in and out, but I'm going to stick around. I'm going to turn off this stream here and go only on